There are a variety of factors that will impact the amount of dissonance that a person may experience. One of those factors is how concrete they feel in certain beliefs that they hold. Another factor is how consistent they are in their beliefs that they hold. Another factor is how consistent they are in their beliefs throughout the course of time. Thoughts and mental actions that are very personal, such as your understanding and belief in yourself, can cause greater dissonance inside of you than other beliefs. The higher value something holds in you internally, the greater the dissonance you will experience if you go against that belief. It is normal for people to have thoughts that clash. However, this is something that tends to come and go. Most people strive to have consistent thought patterns. So it is normal for people to have thoughts that clash. However, this is something that tends to come and go, as most people strive to have consistent thought patterns, behaviors, and beliefs. The more dissonance a person experiences, the more pressure they will also experience to find balance and relief themselves of uncomfortable feelings. It's actually pretty amazing how cognitive dissonance can influence a person's actions, thoughts, and behaviors. Cognitive dissonance can be seen in just about every area of life. It is predominant in situations that behaviors conflict with a person's belief system. This is especially true when dealing with the area of self-identity. Let's look at example of cognitive dissonance so that you have a very clear understanding of what we are talking about here. We see cognitive dissonance occur frequently when people are making purchasing decisions. Let's say you are someone that is very conscious of the environment and you do your very best to make green decisions. One day you go and buy a new car to find out that it's not very eco-friendly. This will cause cognitive dissonance because you care about being friendly to the environment, yet you are driving a car that's not very friendly to the environment. The dissonance can be reduced the number of ways to make the belief and the behavior go together better. You could choose to sell your new vehicle and get one that is going to get better mileage, and be friendlier to the environment. Or you could choose to cut down on how much you are driving the new car. Some may choose to utilize public transportations or even ride a bike to work. Each one of these is a solution to help resolve the dissonance that is being experienced. They all help bring balance. There are a variety of ways that people will try to find balance when experiencing dissonance. Minimizing the drawbacks of a decisions or actions is one way that people do this. A great example is to think about people who smoke, and they may take time to convince themselves that the risks are being blown out of proportion. This helps their mind to accept the bad habits of smoking and in turn alleviates the dissonance they experience when they smoke and think about it being bad for their health. Another thing that people will do to get rid of uncomfortable feelings caused by cognitive dissonance is to look at the beliefs that outweigh the actions that was dissonant. This is done by looking for new information to change their old patterns of thinking. This new information, even if it isn't exactly correct, can allow the uncomfortable feelings to dissipate, leaving the persons feeling more balanced and at ease. People will also try to reduce the significance of the belief that conflicts how they normally feel. An example of this is the person who works in an office building and sits in front of a computer all day. They know that sitting for long periods of time is unhealthy, but it's hard to change it since it is their job to sit in front of that computer. Rather than change their behavior, they will try and justify the actions of sitting all day. They do this by telling themselves that the fact that they eat healthily and exercise once in a while will be enough to combat the negative effects of sitting all day. This helps to reduce the uncomfortable dissonance they are experiencing. The last way that people deal with cognitive dissonance is to change the conflict that is occurring inside by changing a belief so that it coincides with other beliefs. The dissonance will be alleviated. This change of belief system is effective when trying to deal with dissonance, but it's also quite difficult. Obviously, if you're trying to change your core values and beliefs to deal with dissonance, it's going to be a challenge. More often than not, people will find other ways to deal with cognitive dissonance that does not require them to restructure their entire thought process and beliefs on a particular subject. It is important to remember that cognitive dissonance can be very disconcerting. When your beliefs and your actions don't match up, it can take a toll on your ability to make decisions that will be beneficial to you. So when you notice cognitive dissonance, it should be looked at as an opportunity to grow and learn. When you are dealing with a gaslighting narcissist, cognitive dissonance can give you a great clue as to what is going on. If you find yourself doing, saying, or agreeing with things that go against your values and core beliefs because of what someone else is saying, it is a good sign that you are being manipulated. Our bodies do a great job of helping us understand the experiences that unfold in front of us on a daily basis. You can use cognitive dissonance to your advantage so that you maintain the beliefs and values that ring true to you rather than allow yourself to be influenced by a nefarious manipulator. Alright, so come away when night falls, I am your escape. So, gaslighting tends to work in stages. From the start, it might be generally minor. In reality, you may not see it. At the points when your partner blames you for intentionally attempting to undermine you by appearing late to his office party, you attribute it to his nerves or expect you didn't generally mean it, or maybe even to start to ponder whether you were attempting to undermine him, but then you let it go. Inevitably, however, gaslighting turns into a greater piece of your life, distracting your musing and overpowering your feelings. Eventually, you buried in full-scale sorrow, miserable and dismayed, unfit even to recollect the person you used to be. With your perspective and your sense of self, you may not continue through every one of 3 phrases, but for many women, gaslighting goes from terrible to more awful to more awful. Stage 1. Disbelief stage. Disbelief stage 1 is portrayed by disbelief. Your deceiver says something over the top that That person who approaches forbearing was extremely simply attempting to get in you to bed, and you can't exactly accept your ears. You think you're misjudged, or perhaps he has, or possibly he was simply kidding. The comment appears to be so unusual, you may ignore it. Or on the other hand, maybe you attempt to address the blunder but without a ton of energy. Possibly you even get into since a long time ago included arguments, but you're still quite sure of your perspective. Although you like your deceiver's endorsement, you don't feel frantic for it. Stage 2. Defense stage 2 is set apart by the need to safeguard yourself. You scan for proof to refute your deceiver and contend with him fanatically, frequently in your mind, frantically attempting to win his endorsement, admiration, approval. Stage 3. Depression gaslighting is the most challenging of all. Downturn. Now you are effectively attempting to demonstrate that your deceiver is correct, because then perhaps you could do things his way and at long last win his endorsement, approval, love, or admiration, whatever. Chapter 7. Signs you are being manipulated with gaslighting. The signs of gaslighting. Nawala na naman.